Welcome to the Barbershop Breakdown Show. This is your man Roscoe Squeeze Off, and today we have another sports edition. So today my question or my topic is going to be the top 5 currently playing point guards in the NBA. And I will be doing a all-time at some point. But definitely today is going to be the top 5 current playing point guards in the NBA. Now, it's just kind of my opinion of who I would want to have if I had a team that's going to be around for the next 4 or 5 years competitively, and I want a point guard to, right my ship and take me where I want to be. It's not going to be really based off statistics, because to base it off of statistics could be kind of tough, because then you'd have people like Russell Westbrook who would just get a great nod because they're always going to be the top in like rebounding for a point guard, or even very close in assists for a point guard, and even points, just because of the ball. The ball, it's so ball dominant. The ball's always in their hand throughout the game. It gives them a chance to compile stats that some of these other point guards who don't have the ball as much may not compile. So let me just throw out a few names so we know who we're talking about. And then you got your Chris Paul, you got your Stephen Curry, Russell Westbrook. We'll put John Wall in there, even though he's injured this year. He did play. He is a current player. You got playoff Rondo when it's not the playoffs right now. You got Kyrie Irving. You got Kyle Lowry. Kemba Walker is tearing it up this year. I'll mention his name, he's a backup, but he's had a resurgence this year. Derrick Rose, and he's had some historical significance. Matter of fact, quick fact about Derrick Rose is that pretty much everybody who's ever won the MVP is going to be a Hall of Famer. The league MVP is going to be a Hall of Famer. He may be the only one because he won it so young, and then he's been injury prone ever since. And that's kind of bad, because I believe he had a Hall of Fame potential if he could have stayed healthy a few more years. Damian Lillard, who is like everything to his team. You got Eric Bledsoe. You got Goran Dragic. People forget about him because I guess Miami's a little bit of a free fall right now, and not what they used to be. Granted, they're on the borderline of making the playoffs in the East, but nobody really pays attention to them as they once did. Jrue Holiday, who's a defensive marvel when he's playing point. He's very, very good defensively. Isaiah Thomas, I believe, is still injured, and he hasn't been the same since he left Boston. Ricky Rubio, a great passing guard. I don't know how strong defensively. He can shoot pretty well. Doesn't take a lot of shots because of who he's teamed up with, and Mitchell is going to take a ton of them. Now, D'Angelo Russell is killing it this year. Great season scoring. His field goal percentage is improved tremendously. He's even playing a little bit of defense, and he's still very young. I wouldn't trust him to videotape me while I talk about my relationships, but besides that, he's doing very, very well. And that's just a hit at that thing that happened with him and Swaggy P. You got Terry Rozier, who's actually a very good point guard. He just happens to come off the bench at Boston. But whenever Kyrie's not there, and he always misses quite a few games every year, Terry Rozier has looked like he should be a starter in this league. Jeff Teague from the Minnesota Timberwolves, pretty consistent player as well. Reggie Jackson has done a great backup job with Russell Westbrook. Can't put him in this list, but he should be a starter somewhere in this NBA. And then, of course, Ben Simmons, I'll round it up with him. It's a phenomenal, talent, at 6'10", and the ability to get triple doubles. So I'll start number 1 instead of 5 to 1. I'll go number 1 because it's easier for me to pick who I want first. And if you listen to any of my other sports podcasts, you'd probably guess who I would pick. I'm going with Steph Curry. It's a multitude of reasons. He's a winner, first of all. The guy won at Davidson with some guys who all have desk jobs now. None of those guys are playing overseas, playing basketball anywhere besides their backyard or at the neighborhood Y. The guy's a winner. I know he has a ton of talent on his team now, but he's easy to play with. He doesn't need the ball. He can shoot. He makes defenses play him in a fashion that no other point guard does. You have to pick this guy up at half court. He can run around the court like Rip Hamilton and catch and shoot. He can drive to the hole. He has an amazing dribble, one of the top 2 dribblers in the league. He's not the most athletic, and you have to have him a little bit on defense, but that's quite a few guys on this list. But I just think he gives you the best chance to win. If I'm building a team, I want him first as my point guard. I mean, just look at the last 2 All-Star games. He's been picked second, this last one here, because he was actually picking on the year last year. But this year, he was picked second overall after Kevin Durant, which is amazing in itself, man. You think you'd pick a bigger guy that could do more, but you picked this guy because this guy, even though he's not the most athletic, he commands so much attention on the court, and he can change the course of a game by himself. I think he's tremendous, man. I think his shooting ability, his knowledge of the game, his passing ability when he wants to really focus. I think if he truly, really wanted to, in a different system, could easily be one of the top guys in the league in assists. His passing ability is amazing. But he's called on the score. He shoots, an amazing percentage for it almost looks reckless, some of the shots that he takes. But it's not reckless. It's just his game. He takes contested threes and he makes them quite often. And at a high clip, a high percentage. So it's kind of what he does. So number 1, even though you have to hide him a little bit on defense, and he can, and listen, let me put this out there. In the right system, he does well defensively for what they do. He's led the league in steals before. So if he can play and they can kind of hide him, he can roam around and get balls in lanes and passing lanes, come from behind people, things of that nature. He can work well defensively. I mean, they've always been a top defensive team in the league, so it's not like he's just hurting you terribly. I mean, yes, if you can match him up on one-on-ones and isolate him, yes, you can punish him, but they hide him very well, and most defenses would be able to do the same thing on most teams. So have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get our show on all the apps that people will listen to? How do we make money off of our podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing our podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with some great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading you this ad. Anchor, we started almost about a year ago, and it's been a godsend. Like I said, it's a one-stop shop for everything. You don't have to have any experience, and it takes you where you want to be. So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money by doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start. And join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Number 2 is a tough one, and it's so many great players, man, but I think I would honestly go with Kyrie. And the reason I say Kyrie, and it's a tough one, I'm going to take Kyrie because of his big shot making ability. I can't get over that Cleveland win, winning of the championship when he hit that big shot at the end. When all the marbles on the line, I know I can count on the guy to make big play after big play. How he played in the playoffs, the big shots he's made, that holds a lot of weight with me. I prefer him to pass a little bit more because he's definitely a shoot-first point guard. But his ability to get you a basket, whether it's driving, dribbling, making the shot, a three-pointer, a fadeaway, or what have you, in traffic, his ability to do such a thing is it's almost irreplaceable, So number 2 is going to be Kyrie Irving for me. Number 3 for me, if I had to pick someone, I'm going to go outside of probably what most people are thinking. I'm going with the intangibles for the future. If I'm going for the next 4 to 3 to 5 years or so, I'm going Ben Simmons, man. And I know that sounds kind of crazy. Right now, he's raw. It's only his 2nd year playing, 3rd year in the league. He didn't play the first season. I just say you can't teach 6'10". Now, he can't shoot. And actually, we don't even know if he can shoot because he just won't shoot. But I would hire Mark Price, so I don't care who, Steve Nash. I would hire the best shooters in the history of the game and have them teaching this guy fundamentals. This guy's going to take 2,000 shots every day in the off season. We're going to get that guy a jumper. I mean, Magic Johnson got to jump over time. Jason Kidd got to jump over time. These guys were not good shooters that became, quite decent shooters. I would get Ben. I just like Ben Simmons' size, his ability. I like what he's doing already. He just can't shoot. He has the ability to be almost like Giannis, the Greek freak, already, just moving with the ball, passing, driving lanes, things of that nature.